Blackheads, comedones, congested skin are the bane of a skin's existence. And I know I sound dramatic, but it's because these things can be stubborn. So for today's video, I partnered with ZitSticka to share with you guys how to treat those types of things on your skin, what to do if you're experiencing any or all of the above, and let's just go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and first talk about the terminology we're gonna be using in this video. So the first term I wanna talk about is congested skin. Congested skin is something that you hear thrown around a lot of times. I've used it in the past on my channel. And basically what this is referring to is the closed comedone. So essentially it is a pore, or technically a hair follicle, but what we recognize as a pore that has been clogged from either excess oil production, dead skin cells, things like that, where it's almost like a skin color bump, kind of like a closed head. These are also referred to as closed comedones, which is also going to be a term I'm going to be using in this video. Now let's go ahead and talk about what blackheads technically are. Now blackheads are pretty much the same thing. It's where a pore or a hair follicle gets blocked by excess sebum or dead skin cells that collect and block said pore or hair follicle, except what gives blackheads their name is that lovely hue of black or brown. And essentially what causes that is these are technically open comedones. So they are exposed to air, which causes that to oxidize. So there's your difference if you ever wondered. Now that we've kind of discussed the differences and what you might be experiencing when you look and try to address your skin concerns, let's go ahead and talk about some of the things you can do to address them. So the first thing that I would recommend is to dial back your skincare routine. Now I know I'm guilty of this, but a lot of times something could be not agreeing with our skin and we wouldn't know it because we have so many things going on to our skin. So I'd highly recommend just breaking it down into the basic skincare routine where you're essentially just cleansing, toning, and moisturizing, or you can even just cleanse and moisturize if you need to break it down that much. And then of course, protect in the AM. A lot of times when it comes to skincare routines, we over address something that we're experiencing. We tend to gravitate towards using harsh scrubs or getting really aggressive with our cleanser, thinking our skin is dirty, when that's technically not what's going on with the skin. And essentially when you over cleanse the skin or you're too harsh when you're cleansing the skin, your skin will overproduce oil. So it's kind of like a self-perpetuating negative feedback loop. Keep it basic, dial it back, get your skin to baseline is the first thing to do. Now the next thing you're gonna hear recommended a lot is using a chemical exfoliant. So that kind of goes into the realm of AHAs and BHAs, which I've made several videos on. I'll go ahead and link them down in the description box below. So AHAs are essentially water soluble. They work more on the surface of the skin. They help with dullness, wrinkles, and just cellular turnover in general, while BHAs are commonly known for being oil soluble. So they're able to more deeply penetrate into the pore and kind of help break up those blockages. Chemical exfoliants are something that you'll have to kind of tailor to your skin type. For me, I have a dry sensitive skin type, so I use it 1 to 2 times a week. But if you have a more oily skin type or your skin is more tolerant of chemical exfoliants, you can use them up to 3 times a week. But I would definitely recommend working your way into them, not using them every day. And again, just 1 to 3 times a week, depending on your skin type. Now, like I mentioned, I do exfoliate my skin using a treatment 1 to 2 times a week. Lately, I've been using this from ZitSticka. This is the Pore Vac Clearing Clay Mask. And the reason that I like something like this is because not only does it feature all the ingredients I'm about to discuss, but I like it because it's a targeted treatment I can use on my skin where I need it. Now, typically on my skin, like I said, I have dry, sensitive skin. I experience more of the closed comedones on my forehead and the blackheads on my nose. And then again, some closed comedones here, or congested skin is what I call it, kind of over here on my cheeks, almost bordering into the crease of my nose. And that's because, like I said, sometimes I can be a little overzealous with my product application because my skin is so dry and I get a little bit of congestion over here on my cheeks. I can actually use this product on my T-zone and carrying onto a little bit on my cheeks. And I really make sure to focus right here in the crease of my nose. I think it's also a problem issue for me because I tend to think that my products collect in that area when I sleep. So that's also why I like to focus there. And then I also like to hit my chin. Again, I think it's the same thing. The shape of my chin, I think it creates like a shelf for product to collect on, so I get some congestion there as well. So I can target treat those areas with this product and basically avoid my cheeks, because my cheeks don't tend to get those issues. And so I get my treatment stage in 1 to 2 times a week using this. And this is something that I like using, is because I do see an immediate difference in not only the visibility of my skin, but also texturally my skin feels a lot softer and smoother. So you'll be able to see in the B-roll after I use the product what a difference visibly my skin looks, or how my skin looks, but I also like how my skin feels. So talking about some of the ingredients in this and some ingredients to look out for if you're experiencing issues like blackheads or closed comedones or congested skin. First and foremost, like I mentioned, are those chemical exfoliants. So this does contain AHA and BHA in it. Now, on top of having the AHA and the BHA, this also has a couple different forms of AHA, so you kind of like cross your T's and dot your I's. This has lactic acid, tartaric acid, and malic acid in this. Now, another thing that's very helpful in this product, which is something to look out for in blackhead treatments or closed comedone treatments, is the clay specifically in it. This features kaolin clay, and kaolin clay is great because it is a detoxifying type of ingredient. It's gonna help lift out some of that oil because it's naturally an oil absorbing type of ingredient. Besides, the kaolin clay has bentonite clay in it, and that acts as like a slightly stronger type of detoxifying clay. So using those two in conjunction with one another, like I said, you're gonna cross all your bases off and make sure that you're getting the most effective treatment the times that you're doing it. So using ingredients like the Pore Vac from ZitSticka is definitely gonna help with not only treating those areas, but also preventing the formation in general. I mean, let's face it, in general, preventative measures are always the best when it comes to skincare. Now, my next tip is something that I know not all of us have the luxury of doing, but if you do, it's something to think about, which is going and getting extractions done by a professional. Now, I get this done probably once every like 6 months or so, and it's really just to bring my skin back to baseline. I feel like sometimes our skin, you know, life gets ahead of us, our skin needs a little extra something, and extractions are a surefire way to get the gunk out of your pores, if that makes sense. Now, I will never recommend doing extractions at home because that can lead to a lot of issues down the road, whether that's scarring. You can also introduce infection in the skin because you're not properly sanitizing your fingernails or your tools or whatnot. It can also create irritation and inflammation. So it's best to get this done by a professional. And like I said, it's not something you have to do all the time. If you can at least bring your skin back to baseline, if it's an issue that's ongoing for you, then you can use something like this, which will help keep it at bay, prevent the formation, and also just stay on top of your blackhead, closed comedone, and congested skin regimen. Now, a couple things I feel like I will see in the comment section down below questions about, which I'm just going to go ahead and get ahead of those right now, is the pore strips. Now, I've definitely used it in the past, and while I don't necessarily think they're the worst thing you can do, I just feel like there's better options as far as products nowadays, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend pore strips or those types of products when it comes to removing blackheads. Another thing that I've noticed is a lot of people seem to assume that their skin must be dirty if they're experiencing blackheads or even the closed comedones. That's actually really not the case. It's just a blockage of oil and dead skin. And the third myth I'm going to address is that dry skin people can't get these types of issues, which again, couldn't be further from the truth because I experienced them myself. And I think people think that because dry skin, it doesn't produce a lot of oil, therefore how could you have oil blockages within the skin? But the problem is that, like I do, I tend to overcompensate with either products, or you know, I just have areas that tend to produce more oil than others, and so I get those types of issues. So it's still something you want to be on top of if you do have dry skin, and make sure that you're using an appropriate product as well as an appropriate moisturizer. So that's another myth that I've seen quite a bit. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful if you're experiencing any of these issues. I just wanted to make it like succinct, quick, and to the point, and share with you guys a product I've been using recently that has been helpful in this area. And I will go ahead and put the link down in the description box below in case you're curious about picking up the Pore Vac from ZitSticka. Like I said, there's many reasons why I like this, but I just love how it's been treating my skin. And as always, I hope you guys are happy and healthy, and don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.